Hello, this is the Handshake with Maylene Komjisha. I am joined by Paul Bushadizi. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So there's been a wave of crime in the country, and the biggest percent of it is economic crime. From what I've been told, I'm yet to do exact research. And they say businesses lose about 17 billion shillings in these crimes.
A year?
It was not mentioned.
I think it's a year.
It's probably a year, because 17 billion is a lot of money. What are these crimes again?
Well, I think the report you're referring to is a PwC report, PricewaterhouseCoopers report, and they talked about consumer crimes, and I imagine that is, you know, I'm a consumer, and I buy something from the shop, or I steal something from the shop, or they call shoplifting or something like that. Maybe I'm just thinking. Yes. And then there was, of course, bribery and corruption. I think there were several other crimes, all related to, of course, economy, not your normal petty crime and burglary.
So, what brings about this?
Well, I think the report suggested that there's need for improved use of technology as a way to think. So maybe there are gaps in the way we, how can we call it? There are gaps in our technology to prevent this kind of crimes. The report also suggested that there needs improvement in human resource. Maybe people are just not competent sometimes to see these crimes.
Maybe people don't have jobs.
Well, people don't have jobs, but I think more here they're talking about, you know, you're an accountant and you probably can't, or an auditor, and you can't see the crime. It's there, but you just
some sort of fraud.
There's fraud, yes, but you can't work it out from the papers you have. So there's technology and there's fraud. And they suggested also behavioral change, which is an interesting but difficult way to go down that route. Yeah, right. Not important.
So. How do they lose 17 billion? Is it tangible, or does it accumulate over time?
Well, it accumulates, but it affects your business. But think about it. You have a shop. You know, your shopkeeper is stealing stock. That's you think of it that way, or is colluding with other people to give them stock for free or at very discounted prices. Yeah. Or that kind of thing. It accumulates over time. So when you say 17 billion, then it's often not that it happens at once. It happens over a long period of time, and it affects business. So for example, if you have a stock of, let's just say, what are you selling? Newspapers. Right. And you print 30,000 copies, and your people take away every day 2,000 copies. You won't feel it immediately, but it'll catch up with you, because there are costs that went into producing those 2,000 copies that you are not recovering as a business. It'll end up affecting you. Yeah.
Right. So, how can we help? How should they work around this?
No, as PwC suggested, the 3 suggestions was improve the technology around monitoring businesses and things like that. 2, improve the quality of the workforce, training of relevant people. And 3, of course, there needs a behavioral change.
Yeah, those you mentioned. But the question is, most of these businesses are informal.
Yes.
Can they really use that?
Well, they have to if they're going to survive. Maybe that's why they don't also. One of the reasons they don't survive. I think for businesses, you have to aspire towards being more formal and being more mainstream. You know, the money you're eating because you're not paying taxes or because you're not meeting certain statutory obligations is sweet, but it could be more. If we keep thinking short term, you know, it catches up with you. So formality is important. But that last point that PwC made about behavioral change, right, and I think that's a challenge for us as a country, is that, you know, cultures are driven by leadership. And this leadership at every level. In the family, you've had horror stories of kids going to campaign and the teachers and the parents giving them money to bribe their friends. You know, you've heard of teachers conniving to help kids pass exams. the culture, the leadership has to, and you talk about at every level, there has to be a certain decision at some point and say, this is a line, no more. And it's only, this is, a culture is rarely grown from the bottom up, it's grown from the top down. So that's, I think that's critical. Whether it can happen, you know, is neither here nor there. Your guess is as good as mine. Wow. But without that happening, you know, a clamp down on corrupt practices, we'll just keep on being corrupt.
But you know, we gained so much from corruption, and we better our lives in one way or the other.
Oh my God! But it's not sustainable.
Exactly.
Stolen money gets finished since you don't know how to reproduce it. I mean, if you're stealing money because in a certain office, when you move from the office, you're licked.
Well, I don't know what to say about that.
That's
but
true.
they said that these economic crimes have grown recently in 24 months, has been highest really, and something we need to pay attention to. We might think it is not so much, but it's really eating us up. Well, thank you so much, Paul.
You're welcome.